Do you have the record sign?
Yep, I got it.
All right. Do you consent to the recording of this podcast
Yep, I do.
and the release of this podcast on various different platforms?
I agree.
All right, man. Here we go, everybody. Welcome, Dougy. Dougy Fresh. So people don't know, man. People are listening. I think we met like 2 years ago, right? When you first came to HAC, we kind of got here like at the same time.
Yeah.
And we used to go on those runs, those long Monday morning runs. And I would talk to you about this podcast, man. About I had like an idea for a podcast. And then one day you told me something, man. Do you remember what you said to me?
No, I don't.
You're like, stop fucking talking about it. Just do it. Fucking do shit. See, maybe you got sick of
I need to
talking about it.
I need to take my own advice. So I've been wanting to start a YouTube channel myself, and every day I'm like, maybe I'll do it today, maybe I'll do it tomorrow. And I've written a script, but I haven't done it. I haven't started it yet.
Can you tell me about it?
It was just literally just gonna be me just talking about things that are on my mind, just the random shit that bounces around my head. Some people might be interested or not. I wanted to do movie reviews, but there's a million movie review channels on YouTube. But I'm really into movies. I'm kind of a cinephile.
Oh yeah? Oh shit! I gotta have you on there for a different reason then. Okay, we can go into movies, man. I love movies too, man. Give me top five. Let's go with that.
Top five. Okay, well, my all-time favorite is Mad Max Fury Road. Before that, it was Mad Max The Road Warrior. I love the Mad Max movies. But then Fury Road came out, and that was like the pinnacle of cinema for me.
Is that the latest one that came out with Charlize Theron, whatever?
Yeah, that came out in 2015.
Okay.
And then top five. Oh, Midsommar. I don't know if you saw that. It was directed by the same guy that did Hereditary. That's a really good movie too. Yeah. You need to watch Midsommar. That'll fuck your head up. Midsommar, yeah.
Oof. I don't know if I want my head fucked up, Doug. What's it about?
Became one of my favorite movies. It's about these college kids. They go to Sweden for a festival. It's called Midsummer. It's when it's like a really old tradition that they hold in Sweden. And these college kids go up to like do their what's it called, like the thesis paper or something.
Yeah.
And it just turns out being a whole bunch of fucked up shit. Like it's like a cult almost. And then they start killing these kids, and you'd have to watch it because it's not just like it's not like an 80s slasher like Jason, where they just start killing kids for no reason. It's crazy.
Okay. So there's a method to the madness, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So those were the first two. What do you got? What else, man?
First two. And then there's a movie with Jason Statham. It was by Guy Ritchie. It's called Snatch.
Oh, yeah. That's
yeah. You ever seen
Brad Pitt's in that one, right?
Yeah, Brad Pitt. He plays a Mickey, the boxer.
Yeah, the gypsy or something like that. Irish gypsy.
Yeah.
Hilarious,
oh,
dude.
Man. I love Guy Ritchie movies, too. They're really good. There was Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. And there was another one. I can't remember now, but Guy Ritchie is really good. I like that dark comedy style that he does. Wait, we need two more. It's hard to just think off the top of my head about.
Yeah.
Did you see the new Dune?
Oh, the one that just came out?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it. What'd you think?
That movie was awesome.
Really?
Yeah. It was incredible. The cinematography and the special effects and
yeah, that was good.
Yeah, it was really good. I don't know if I'd put that in my top five though. Maybe.
It was kind of anticlimactic to me, man. Me and my wife watched it. We kept waiting for like something big to happen. We're kind of like, when it ended, we were kind of like, oh, that was it. You know what I mean?
Well, there's like 10 Dune books, and so that was just like the first part.
Yeah. Are they supposed to make sequels to this or what?
Yeah, they're supposed to make sequels because the first Dune that came out in the '80s tried to put all the books in one movie, so it just went really fast. So this gave like a really good. This was more true to the book.
Isn't there a TV series too, or there was?
I don't know about that.
Okay. I thought there was. Maybe, I mean,
Oh
there's TV series for everything, so I don't know.
yeah, the Evil Dead movie that came out in I think it was 2013 or 2014. That's one of my favorite horror movies ever. I love the old Evil Deads with Bruce Campbell, and they were directed by Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
There was three of them: Evil Dead 1, Evil Dead 2, and then Army of Darkness,
Army of Darkness.
which I love those movies, but the kind of remake that they did in 2013, I think it was, that movie. That's an awesome horror movie.
Okay, so I'm noticing a theme, man. A lot of them have to do with a lot of death, a lot of action, man.
Well, I'm not gonna put The Notebook on my top 5. I don't.
Yeah, but you probably like it. You probably cried when you watched it, man.
I've never watched the whole movie. I just can't get into it.
Oh no, dude. When I was in the Navy, man, I
Yeah, in the
walked
Navy.
into because we have like lounges in the berthing area and they have like a TV and stuff, like a place for us to kind of like relax. And people were watching. I'm like, what the fuck are these guys? You know, these are guys that are very, you know, a lot of full of testosterone and stuff. Most of the times when I walk in there, they're watching like action movies, porn, or a bunch of dudes are like fighting, like wrestling with each other and stuff and just beating the shit out of each other. And I walk in there one day and they're watching this fucking Notebook and it's all quiet. Everyone's all serious and shit into it. All right, let me sit down. I got nothing else to do, right? You know, just gonna fucking unwind a little bit before I hit my bunk. And it's towards the end of the movie. Then like the end comes and you see a bunch of guys get like all misty eyed. It's like, what the fuck, man? What kind of shit is this, dude?
You know, you can't live that hyper violent lifestyle all the time.
Yeah, man. I think so. Hold on a sec. All right, go ahead.
Did you ever see Drive? It had
Yeah, I like Drive.
the guy from The Notebook in it. Yeah.
Ryan Gosling. Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan Gosling. That was a good movie. I actually like that one a lot. I like that kind of like 80s like synth type movie. It was modern. It was made in the modern age, but it kind of had that old 80s like Vice feel.
Yeah, there's a grittiness to certain styles of movies, like the Dirty Harry movies and stuff that come from like the 70s. I mean, you can add the 80s in there a little bit too with Dirty Harry had the Charles Bronson movies. You know what I mean? Like just a certain type of grittiness to it. I like that genre too. I like that type of style, man.
Yeah. I loved all the Dirty Harry movies. And I'm a huge Clint Eastwood fan, actually. I've seen all of his movies.
I mean, it's I know a lot of people who get like political. I don't about that stuff. I just like, yeah, the guy's movies, man. He's amazing, man. With what he does. And he's one of those actors to me that he's pretty much the same guy in every movie, but you can't take your eyes off him. I feel like there's two different types of actors. There's actors who are like shapeshifters or chameleons. They're completely different people in every different scene or movie that you see them in. And I love those people who could do that because I think that's really hard. Or there's like the Clint Eastwoods, Al Pacinos, Robert De Niro's, that they're awesome. You love watching that. They're pretty much the same dude, just toning it up or toning it down a little bit is what they do, you know?
Well, that's them playing to their strengths. Because like John Wayne, yeah, he's the same character in every movie. He's just John Wayne. I don't even know his characters' names in like True Grit and the Cowboys and stuff. I don't even know what his character name was. He's just John Wayne.
He's just fucking John Wayne, right?
Same with you know, Clint Eastwood and like you said, like Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. They're the same guy, and that's just them playing to their strengths. But then you have actors like Daniel Day-Lewis, who I think is the best actor alive right now. he played Lincoln. He was in Gangs of New York and that oil movie he played in. I think it was called
So many, man.
True Blood. Yeah, and he can play a different character, and he's really good at it too. Same with like Leonardo DiCaprio and stuff.
Yeah, he kind of I put Leo kind of in between those two characters, between those two different. I don't think he's always the same dude, but I don't think he's as good as a shapeshifter as some of these other guys, like Daniel Day-Lewis, Ed Harris, Philip Seymour Hoffman, rest in peace. Those guys were just freaking different people, man.
I mean, it kind of depends on when you're looking at Leonardo DiCaprio, because if you look at Django and you look at Wolf of Wall Street, I mean, they're not even close to being the same character. I think Leonardo DiCaprio really came into his own fairly recently. Because from when from the Titanic up until I would say maybe Django, he was pretty much the same character. But I think he kind of found it. He found the way.
Yeah. I started to respect him as an actor when I saw that movie. Something was it Blood Diamond? Yeah,
Blood Diamond.
Blood Diamond. That's when I started to like. He seemed like before that he was always just kind of like a youth, a very young guy. And then when I saw him in that movie, like, oh, he's a fucking man now. Dude. Like, look at him now. He changed for me in that movie. Like I always liked his movie. I thought he was good, but he stepped it up to me in that movie, Blood Diamond.
Well, that's kind of like what I was thinking about with my YouTube channel, is because everyone does movie reviews, but I don't think a lot of people go into like the directors and the actors and stuff. Because a lot of times the actors play the same role because the director wants them to play the same role. Yeah.
Right. They find something that works, something that's successful, and they're trying to milk it.
Yeah, exactly. So, when Tarantino brought Leonardo DiCaprio for Django, Tarantino did not have the idea of DiCaprio playing the same youth that he's always played. Mm-hmm. He was this rich plantation owner who was kind of a psychopath. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was I think the directors make a big difference. Because did you ever see there was a movie with Jack Nicholson and Leonardo DiCaprio where one's like a mafia guy and then one's a cop, and they're both undercover. So the mafia guy goes undercover and becomes a cop.
The Boston one. What's the name of that one? Departed.
Yeah, Departed.
That's a great movie, man.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I don't think DiCaprio plays like that same kind of youth that you see in like earlier DiCaprio films. So I think the director makes a big difference.
Yeah, or in Once Upon a Time. I like that. I feel like that wasn't even really like a leading role. I felt like it was almost like a supporting role to Brad Pitt's performance. Brad Pitt had the better performance, I felt. But I mean, that performance is not as great as it is without Leonardo DiCaprio's support. I think it's labeled different, that Brad is the supporting actor and Leo is the lead actor. But the way I view it, it's completely opposite. But I mean, that's just my opinion.
No, I think you're right. And but that goes to like Quentin Tarantino writes and directs those movies, and he has a very specific idea, and he has very specific actors in mind and what their strengths are. And Tarantino was really good on playing on those strengths.
Yeah, man. I mean, so I would say that the role for Leonardo there, and part of his greatness is that, if you look at famous comedy duos, Laurel and Hardy, Abbott and Costello, you don't see too many duos in comedy, that much anymore. But the greatness of those groups is that one guy kind of has to take a step back. It's almost like football. Like, how great is this wide receiver if they doesn't have a quarterback to get them the ball? You know what I mean? So like those setup men are underappreciated. Playing the street guy in comedy or whatever, like that person has to be able to do that thing in order for the guy who gets the laughs or the acclaim, you know what I mean, to do what they do. You know what I mean? And it was amazing for me to see him to play that role. And because the guy was very vulnerable, very flawed character. You know what I mean? Just so
Yeah.
insecure about everything. You know what I mean?
But that's what I love about Tarantino is that, you know, his character was written so specifically to just work like that, you know?
Yeah. It's the genius of what he's doing. Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, man. Let's go into some other stuff. You ready? Step away from movies.
I'm ready. Yep.
So here was the thing, man. Let me tell people a little bit about you, man. When we would go on these runs and we would talk, you know, just every Monday, do whatever. We just talk about politics, about religion, about everything. And I always said, like, you know, we'll bring this to a podcast and we'll have you on the podcast. So I definitely wanted to have you on before you left. And I sent you a couple of different topics. So I'm going to let you choose what you want to do. There's that British guy, Ali London, who decided to become a Korean guy. He identifies as a Korean guy. We could talk about that. Which, listen, there's so much to unpack with that topic right there. There's what happened at the Capitol building when Trump was turning over that insurrection. We could talk about Bitcoin. We could talk about Thanksgiving, the celebration of it. Which way do you want to go? Do you have something else you want to talk about, man? You can go either way you want.
I mean, some of those topics, like I just have a really short response. Like the Ollie London thing, I had to look that up. I didn't know what the fuck that was.
I didn't know either till yesterday. My wife told me about it. I was like, what? Get the fuck out of here.
I mean, here's all I have to say about that. If it's not physically hurting anybody else, then really, why does anybody care?
Oh my God.
If he wants to be a fucking BTS guy, then is it hurting anyone else? You know?
So here's what I heard. I heard that the Korean government had a response, or maybe they were asking like general Koreans like how they felt about this. Apparently, a lot of people are offended that he's trying to identify as Korean.
But what's the difference? What's the difference of him doing that than all these, you know, the transgender people?
There you go, man. That's I think that's the landmine. You just stepped on the landmine. And that's why, and I don't know, I saw an interview with him because I was looking it up. Like it just seemed a little crazy to me. Although I knew it was coming. I had talked about this with other people. I told a friend of mine on one of my podcasts that the way it's looking to me that one day, because the world is just churning. Like, what is reality? That whole idea is changing because of the internet, because of the what's that Facebook thing? It's the metaverse.
Meta? Yeah.
So like whatever is real is starting to change. And I always live the description of me as a young man, like I love to play baseball, right? And when you play baseball, you bat up and boom, you hit a home run. Like that is what it is. You were able to do that. You were able to achieve that. And it took a certain amount of effort from me to be able to do that, right? Where in this new world that I think it's about to take over, this virtual world, it doesn't take much effort. Like if you even play a video game of baseball, let's just say, right? You keep swinging, eventually you will hit a home run. But in real life, or what I call real life, if you don't put the work in, you're not going to hit that home. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like it's changing the dynamics of life. And that's kind of my thing. I was saying, like, where does this go? Can you beat anyone? Is that where we're going? Like, there's basically no limitations. So I told my friend, like, look, one of these days I'm going to meet a short, like Filipino guy, and he's going to tell me he's Michael Jordan. Not that he wants to be like Michael Jordan, that he actually is Michael Jordan. You see what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know. In this reality, there's limits. I don't know if in this new reality that's being created, if there's any limits. You understand what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, but isn't that kind of what makes us humanity, is pushing the limits?
True.
I mean, Elon Musk is trying to put a colony on Mars right now. Like, you know, that's what makes us human, is there really isn't a line for us. And, you know, you can't really make the comparison of Elon Musk wanting to go to Mars and then this person wanting to become a Korean, not just a Korean, like a BTS member, pretty much. But but maybe you can, because once again, you're pushing the limits, and that's what makes us human, is us telling, like, reality telling us we can't do something, and then saying, yes, the fuck I can, and I will.
Right. I'm all for that. Yeah, I'm with you 100%. But I think that's pushing limits, pushing boundaries, changing the scope of what is possible. But with all that, we still know that there is a boundary. We just moved it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if there's.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is like, okay, let me show you these two things. You tell me what they are.
Yeah, a pen and a mug.
All right, pen and a mug. With no boundaries, these are just whatever. There's no differentiation. There's no way to differentiate between it. You understand what I'm saying? If anything is anything, then it's nothing at the same time. You kind of understand what I'm saying? Or am I like tripping?
No, I get what you're saying, because if you look at it from like a Korean standpoint, you know, their culture, they've protected their culture for thousands of years. Almost every Asian country at one point has occupied Korea, and they've still managed to keep their culture.
Right.
And then this random guy comes out of nowhere and says, I'm going to be you. You know, I can get how that could be offensive.
Yeah.
And, you know, but once again, it's not physically hurting anybody.
I think it's flattering, dude. If it was me, I think I'd be honored. Like, oh wow, that's kind of cool, kind of weird too. But then again, like me and you are American, right? So anyone could choose to be American, right? There's no real definition or of what American is. I think some people try to make that, but I don't think that's true. The American is just that you believe in that everyone is equal and that we have the right to be free and to govern ourselves. That's American, right? Doesn't matter
Right.
like what you look like, what you talk like, who do you sleep with, what God you pray to. You just choose to follow those American ideals, and you're an American, I guess.
Yeah, it's different, especially like in these Asian countries. You can't just be, you know, Chinese or Korean, or they have a very different culture.
It's more specific.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I also think that I don't think it matters that much, to be honest. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect you. It might piss off the Koreans, but it's not really affecting their way of life.
Right. Yeah, man. I mean, it's an interesting thing because we're talking about pushing limits and boundaries in the world that we're coming into. I think this is starting to, because he's not the first person that I remember saying this. There was this woman who was, I think, the head of the AA and NCP, the National African American something, whatever that is, right? You know what I'm saying? That, you know, that group that I'm talking about. And somebody revealed that she wasn't even African American. She was pretending to be. She was some white woman, but she had a little bit of a darkness to her skin or whatever. It's the way she did her hair and everything, you know, and it, you know, she rose to the top by telling people she was African American, but somebody exposed her and said, no, she's not. Here's her high school photos. Look at her. She's just a regular ass white girl. Here's who her real parents are. They show pictures and everything. And she had like this fake pictures of a person who was her parent. You know what I mean?
People, you know, a lot of times you'll see, like, especially with that new 23andMe thing that just came out, people can find their genetics and, like, look at what I think it was Elizabeth Warren, right? She's like, I don't know, 0.5% of Native American. So she's going around saying she can speak for Native Americans, you know?
Yeah.
And that's people just like taking something and just making it fit their agenda of what they want to happen. And they say, well, I have some authority on it because I'm 1/8% of Native American or something.
Yeah. Well, with Elizabeth Warren,
So,
yeah, I think that the issue with her was, I think she used that to get into a certain college, which is what people were saying. Like you kind of lied and you cheated, you gamed the system to get ahead in life.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? Which I don't think that's actually 100% true. I don't know all the facts and everything, but with the other two people, this Ali London, and I wish I remember the woman's name. I feel like they actually do feel connected to a certain culture and an identity. One with being black, the other one being Korean. When you say black, I think that that's a little bit more tricky because what is black? There's no country named black. You know what I'm saying? Black is
mm,
an American creation. With Korea, like that's a thing. We have the history. It's right here. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if you look at black culture today too, like how many people probably, I think there's a lot of people out there who are not from African descent, who I think probably, if they don't identify black, they identify with the culture, with the music, the style. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing that bothers me most about in America, especially if you ask someone, no one will tell you that they're American. They'll be like, "Well, I got some, you know, Italian and French," and
Right.
they'll go through their whole family history. And it's like, "What? You were born in America, weren't you? Just you're an American." You know,
Right.
if you went to France and asked them what they were, they would say, "I'm French." They wouldn't say, "Well, my dad's Welsh and my
Yeah, they
mom's
came from
French" or
somewhere else,
something.
right?
Yeah, that just wouldn't happen. So I don't understand the mindset that some Americans have where they try and act like they weren't born in America.
Yeah, I think that was more popular before. Maybe because I remember in my days when I was growing up, a lot of people, because I grew up in New York, there's a lot of Italian people, Irish, different things. People would definitely say, I'm Italian. And even though they were born and raised here, and a lot of them, their parents were even born and raised here. But now when you go to their grandparents or great grandparents, probably not. I mean, I don't know. But I think for at least 50% of them, their parents were both born here and they were born here, which makes them second generation Americans. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, man.
In that because I've got Italian family. I got family that lives in Italy. And I I don't even know. See, I'm so like just disconnected that I don't even know how to say the city. I think it's Bologna. And they
Okay.
got a vineyard up there. I have an uncle, his name's Massimo, I think. Somewhere down the line. But I don't go around telling people I'm Italian. I'm American. I was
Right.
born in America. My dad was born in America, you know?
Yeah. Well, what about your grandparents?
Um, well, so my mom's adopted, so we don't know much
We don't
about
know.
her
Okay.
family. My dad's side, his mom, they came over from Italy, I think to escape the war,
Okay.
something like that.
Pretty smart.
And so maybe I'm second generation American, but
Okay.
I still consider myself American. I was born and raised in Colorado. That's all I know.
I mean, you're right. I think that's the uniqueness of American. I don't even think you need to be born in this country to say you're American. You know,
Yeah.
I know people who weren't born in this country and they're like, dude, I'm American. That's who I am.
Is it a mindset? Maybe. I don't know.
So that goes to like what I'm saying is being Korean a mindset, is being black a mindset. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. This stuff is,
Okay, so that goes back to the original question, like this transgender thing. They truly believe that they are born the
different.
opposite gender of what they
Yeah, yeah.
feel. So if you truly feel like you're a woman, but you were born a man, it's a mindset, like kind of like you said. So if you go through the process to become a woman, how is that any different than being in the mindset that you are Korean? Truly, deeply believe it. You relate to that culture.
Right.
And so you go through the process.
Yeah. I don't know. I think a lot of transgender people, if they listen to what you're saying, will make an argument that it's different because they were born that way, where this other person chose to be that way. They just kind of looked at it and was like, I like this, I identify with it, and this is who I want to be. And then that goes into like the power of choice or free will. Do I get to be whatever I want to be? Like, I don't give two shits, to be honest with you. I think you don't care either. Like, dude, if you want to be a guy, if you want to be a woman, if you want to be Korean, Black, like whatever. But eventually I think we're going to have to reckon with it somehow, somewhere. There has to be some kind of limitations on it, I think, because I think there's going to be legal issues, right? We see it in MMA. Can someone who was born a man transition to be a woman and then go beat up a woman? Is that okay? You know what I'm saying? Like Elizabeth Warren, can she identify, or someone identify as being Native American and then get into like prestigious colleges? You see what I'm saying? We're gonna have to put some sort of limitation on this stuff somehow, some way.
Maybe, but that goes to my original comment. Like it's not affecting me.
Right. But what if it
really
does? I think eventually maybe it will somehow. Let's just say you lose your job to someone. I don't see how. Let's just say you lose out a job position to someone, right? This has happened. That's kind of what they're saying about Elizabeth Warren, that someone else who deserved that position in that school, got kicked out because of her. What if you lose your job to someone because of this thing, because they identify as something else? But it turns out they're a fucking white guy from Colorado, just like you. You know what I mean? But they said they were something else, and then they got position or whatever, some special treatment or some fucking shit. I don't know, dude.
There's other jobs out there.
Yeah, you just don't care. You just fuck it.
It'll buff out, man. It will.
Yeah, that's an army thing. People don't understand that. Like, it's just army. It kind of just means like, fuck it. Whatever happens, and in the long run, everything will be all right.
Look at the stats there's like 10 million job openings right now in America. If I lose my job tomorrow, there's another spot for me. It will be fine.
Okay. All right, you know what? I'm gonna okay. Challenge accepted, Dougie. Here we go. Challenge accepted, brother. Here we go. So,
all right.
Hypothetically speaking, right? You close to your parents?
Pretty close, yeah.
Okay, so your mom gets her ass beat by this woman. I mean, completely beat up, right? She's in the hospital. She's all fucked up. She's never going to be able to take care of herself again. It turns out that woman used to be a man now. And the cops don't want to press charges because they figure it's just two women fighting. I'm going to an extreme here, dude, all right? Anyone listening, I'm going to an extreme here. But I'm saying, dude, I think that whatever it is that's going on, we, as a society, as people, we need to deal with it. I think we have to reckon with that there's consequences to anything that anybody does. So how do you feel in that situation? Then fuck it, it'll buff out.
I had this old NCO. He said once, if grasshoppers had machine guns, would birds still try and eat them?
I don't think so, no.
It's an extreme. Well, I don't know. Maybe they would. But you can't, like these what if questions. My dad used to do that to me all the time. I hated those what if questions. Because what if this happens? What if that happens? You know? Right. That's something that we got to deal with in the moment. I can't plan out every what if.
No, but this is a show, it's a podcast. We got to talk about shit, man. I need shit to talk about, man. You know, and it's fun. I think it's just what Einstein used to say, well, thought experiments. You know, it's just, you know, you don't have to, just because say you have an idea, I think this about something doesn't mean that you always have to think that way or that. That makes what we're saying true. My show is called Blanco's Conversations because I feel like I want to just spread ideas and talks about things. Not that I'm against anything or I'm for anything. You know what I mean? This is just a platform for ideas, for people to openly and honestly just express thoughts, man. Because I don't think anyone I invite on here has all the answers or that they're somehow smarter than anyone else. I just think that the thing about this podcast, we're not going to be afraid to talk about certain things. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, so I get what you're saying, and I'm just trying to spread a different idea of like, you can't dwell on what ifs.
Right. True. You can't stay there
because that's just how I've lived my life. But okay, let's just run with that question. My wife's got I don't know, or my here, let me word this. Somebody will take care of my mom. Okay. She's got a boyfriend. She's got other family. She's got a sister. And she's got me. Now, would I be pissed and would I be tempted to go beat that female's ass who used to be a man? Sure. Maybe I would. Maybe I'd do some jail time.
Right.
It's okay.
Okay. Let's switch it up now. So, where do you stand on cryptocurrency, man? What do you think about all this?
So, I don't really know. So, I have cryptocurrency, but I don't know anything about it. I don't necessarily believe in it. I'm just hoping. I've been buying a few tokens and coins here and there. Maybe I get lucky and I stumble across the next Bitcoin.
Right.
But I'm not putting like my life savings into it. You know, I've seen, and it's all across the military. I've noticed all these guys are putting thousands of dollars into these, especially Shiba Inu and stuff. I put $100 into this one, maybe that one. I don't know enough about cryptocurrency to like justify putting in a couple grand.
Right.
I'm just been like, maybe I get lucky, you know. That's where I'm at on cryptocurrency.
Has it made you think about what currency is, what money is? Because I think that's what it's done for me.
Yeah. Well, that can go into a whole conversation about like, you know, the money that we have now, you know, like the US dollar.
Yeah.
Which isn't even really a US dollar, it's a banknote for the Federal Reserve, which is not actually part of the federal government. That's a whole thing that I can go down. But it's not real money. It's not backed by anything other than the American economy. Same with cryptocurrency. It's not backed by anything other than the people investing in cryptocurrency.
Right.
So I kind of like what you said, like what is money? And that could even go back to when people were trading gold.
Right.
It's just a shining metal. It really doesn't have any worth other than what people gave us. They gave it.
Yeah.
Now people, it can be used in electronics and stuff, but.
Yeah, because I remember growing up and having that question, that idea, like, what the hell is even money? And being told that every dollar, every cent represents a certain portion of gold locked up somewhere in Fort Knox or something. But I think cryptocurrency is making people realize that that's not really what money is. Money seems to be a contract between people, between a society, or whatever. It's just saying like, we agree that this has a certain worth, a certain value. Like, let's just say I'm hiring you to fix my garage, right? And we agree upon once you finish the job that you will get X amount of dollars. Doesn't mean I gave you any fucking thing. I'm just saying, I agree that you earned X amount of dollars, and I give you something. I give you a floppy disk or a piece of paper or something that says now Dougy has X amount of dollars, and now you can go somewhere else and give that to someone else for something, for a product or for work or for, you see what I'm saying? And then the cycle just keeps kind of going like that. But in the end, it's not something you can hold in your hand. It's really just seems to be an idea. And when we talk about that,
it's the problem I have with debit cards now, is because you just have this card and you can just start swiping away with credit cards and everything. At least with paper money, I could open up my wallet and be like, all right, I'm running a bit low. You know? And I mean, you can check your bank account, but it doesn't feel the same as when you can physically see that you're losing money.
Yeah. And I think that's why some people are really bad with it. Some people's brains just don't do numbers or math, but if they physically can see something like, okay, I'm running low on something, that's different.
Yeah. And so that gold standard the gold standard went away a long time ago. The US dollar isn't even backed by the gold in Fort Knox anymore. It's just backed by the economy.
What does that mean?
It means that it's basically backed by the stock market. If you watch when the stock market crashes, that's when inflation hits. The dollar goes up or down, just based on how well the stock market's doing. We're just basically saying our dollar is worth this much because these corporations are doing well, which is weird.
But that's very subjective, man. That's the thing I kind of just drives me crazy about money or anything, the worth of anything, right? You see a painting and you go, what do you think about that painting? Yeah, it's all right. Some guy is like, yeah, it just sold for $100 million. What the fuck? That's worth $100 million. Somebody paid it. That's what it's worth, I guess, right?
The art community trips me out. I don't even understand how some of these things. A lot of times you're just buying the name of the painter. The painting doesn't even matter.
Same thing with clothes, right?
Have you heard about these NFTs?
No, what is it?
NFTs. It's fucking crazy. It's part of the cryptocurrency world now.
Okay.
And so it's like digital art, and you can buy the digital art.
Okay.
For like Bitcoin or something.
Shit.
But then I was looking into it. Like, you don't own the rights to that. And who's to stop someone from like screenshotting it? And now they just have it too. There's no legalities behind it or anything. All you did was spend like, one Bitcoin, $60,000 on this digital art that you thought was worth something.
So you just opened up a fucking door, dude, which is, I watched a little bit of a documentary on like all this stuff. The big thing behind it is that they're trying to say that none of this can be stolen. Like you can't, because it's kind of out in the open. You could see what's there. It's sort of like if the banks in Fort Knox and all of them had plexiglass windows and you could always see what was there is there. So therefore it can never be corrupted or stolen or whatever. And I'm kind of like, there's a way to do anything. I don't believe
that was proven not true with that whole oil pipeline thing. The hackers hacked the oil pipeline and they wanted like Bitcoin. It happened earlier this year. There was some Russian hackers that hacked an oil company and stopped the oil pipelines, and they were holding the oil pipelines ransom, saying they wanted so amount of Bitcoin to release the oil pipeline. So the oil company sent the Bitcoin, but then the US government seized the Bitcoin, which just goes to show that it can be stolen.
Right.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Oh, I have to look that up, dude. Hold on. Let me write that down. How did they do it? Do you got any idea how they were able to seize it?
I have no idea.
Yeah. That kind of just said fuck you to everything about this whole cryptocurrency shit, huh?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Because the whole point of cryptocurrency, because it was used, like it was originally used on like the dark web. People were buying drugs and stuff with it, and the government couldn't track it. Well, the government just seized it. So where does that put us on cryptocurrency now?
I don't know.
And look at what happened with cryptocurrency. The whole market tanked because Elon Musk was on SNL and said some weird shit about cryptocurrency. One guy almost tanked the entire cryptocurrency market.
Yeah, he had to back that up. He had to say, "Oh, I'm sorry." Yeah.
Yeah, and then it started going back up.
Yeah. Exactly.
So,
that's what I'm saying. This shit is some Dungeons and Dragons shit. This is, but I don't think, it's more so wizardry and magic than the government's currency. But at the same time, the government's currency, all this currency, the idea of it is just a contract between people. And how do you police it? How what makes, like I said, the example that I gave you, you work for me and I say, boom, I'm giving you this X amount of value, right? Could I given you more? Could I given you less? Where am I getting it from? You see what I'm saying? It's different when you're in a barter and trade economy. You see what I'm saying?
What are you talking about? Like barter, like a commune or something where someone makes something, you trade stuff?
Either way, man, what I'm saying is that the value of money just comes from a person saying, this is what it's worth. They just say it. And that's the danger of money. If you could just say, this is what it's worth, what stops somebody from saying, I have more than you? You see what I'm saying?
Well, what do you think the solution to that would be?
No, I don't have.
Is there a solution?
I don't have.
I mean, is there?
I get why we're doing it because it gets people to wake up in the morning and do shit and not just sit around all day and maybe get into wars or whatever the fuck we were doing before there was money. I don't know. I get it. And I'm not saying like let's stop it. You know what I mean? But I'm just trying to understand it, man. I'm just trying to get my head around what it is. This is the kind of guy I am. I'm always in my head. I'm always thinking. And money's just one of those things that I think about. It's like, what the fuck is this? Why are we doing it? Why are we killing ourselves over what is it really? Because to me, what it really is, it means several things. Right? It means status. It means I could do more shit, right? But there's a kind of a dark side to it too, which is like, if you have a lot of it, people might want to fucking kill you or rob you. And also to get it, what might you have to do to get more? That means you have to work all day and not have a life. So then, 20, 30 years later, you accumulated all this money, but you wasted your fucking life. You didn't do anything. You weren't happy at all. Your kids don't like you. Your wife is sleeping with the gardener. I mean, you see what I'm saying? Like all this shit pops into my fucking head, Dougie. Just the kind of guy I am.
No, I totally get what you're saying, but I think that's what kind of makes capitalism in America as great as it is, because Elon Musk is about worth $300 billion, which is an insane amount of money. Like, you can't even comprehend that much money. That makes me want to think of ideas. How can I become that rich?
Right.
Because maybe you're right. Maybe I'm up all day and night working, everything around me is going to shit, but I don't know. I feel like with $300 billion, nothing in life could seem that bad.
Well, I think that's the kind of the trick with Elon or some of these guys. It's not that they're billionaires. They seem to be fucking, they have it. Like they own life. They're fucking having a good time. When you look at them, like if I showed you, like, say you never knew what a billionaire was, right? And I just show you what billionaires are, and they look fucking sad and pathetic, not happy at all, you'd be like, fuck billionaires. I don't want to be a fucking billionaire. Is that they look great. They look happy. They look like they're doing, the key is, I think, is I don't want to say happiness, but being happy, like doing what it is that you want to do. Elon Musk seems like a guy who's doing what he wants to fucking do. And I think that's a lot of people liked about Trump, because he was saying whatever the fuck he wanted to say, and people loved it. You couldn't hurt him. You couldn't touch him. You know what I'm saying? He seemed happy. He was sleeping with porn stars. He was making fun of retarded, pretending people go fuck themselves. Like, who doesn't want to have that kind of power and freedom? You see what I'm saying? That's what I think makes those things sexy. It's not really the money, although maybe the money's part of it. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess you're right. If I saw a bunch of sad billionaires, I don't know if I'd want to chase that down.
Yeah.
Although, how could you be
to
sad
be a billionaire?
Kind of money?
You know, you're basically, you know, you're never gonna have sex. You're never gonna party. None of the things that you like. You're basically gonna work 100 hours a week. I don't know how many people would say, yeah, I want to be rich. I want to be a billionaire. You know what I'm saying?
But that's how you get to that point too. Elon Musk doesn't sleep in. I can guarantee that. He's probably up before most people in the military.
Right, but he's doing what he loves. Is what I'm saying. Like when you see a rock star practicing 12 hours a day, and then they go and they do a concert, and they're only sleeping 4 hours a night. But you know that they're not doing it for the money. They're doing it for the love of what they're doing. So they're whatever that good feelings that they're having from doing that, it spreads. We can see that and go, oh, I want to be like that person.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. I think that's the key to it.
But yeah, but as for money, it doesn't really have any value except for what we give it.
Yeah. I agree. So my advice to you, man, before we shut down shop here, is look, man, if you want to do a movie review critic thing, do it, man. Because there might be a million other movie reviews, critics. There's only one Dougy doing it, man. You bring that unique thing to it. So it's you, man. And if it's going to make you feel good, like I said, like these rock stars, like these billionaires who want to go to space, they're doing what they want to do, what they enjoy doing, then you actually are a rich person, Doug. Because you're doing it because you're doing what you want to do. Like, I'm not making any money doing this, man, but I love doing it.
Yeah, you've been talking about it for a while. I know it's something that you really wanted to do.
Yeah. And it feels good, man. Do it, Dougy. I want to see you. Have me on your show. We'll talk about movies, man. Do it.
All right, that sounds good to me.
All right, brother. I'm going to miss you, Doug. Take it easy.
You too, man. We'll keep in touch.